Well, we certainly will be requesting it out of rules, and we're going to be aggressive in inviting our Democratic colleagues to sign on. So hopefully that will be an opportunity to move it out of committee. I did want to introduce Senator Ryder, though, because he has some information on possibly competing proposals, which you need to know about, and some information on the technicalities.
Thank you, Senator Radogno. I want to speak a little bit to the issue of and there's been three questions here, of Democrat involvement. Let's give credit where credit is due. The Senate President, John Cullerton, agreed to set up the Senate Redistricting Committee. And he appointed a chairman in Senator Kwame Raoul, who I know is sincerely interested in changing the system from what it is today. Having said that, I mean, we've all been in this building long enough to know there are some things that are truly reform, that will truly change the process for the better. And there are some things that are called reform, make me look on the surface like reform, but in the end won't make a significant change in how government operates. And I would suggest that wariness, that skeptical eye be applied in this situation as well. And there's a clear line of demarcation for this process. Are you going to allow elected members of the General Assembly to continue to draw their own lines, or are you not? That's it. I mean, the power that we talk about, the power that is so often complained about in the public and in the press, is an entrenched power, and it is placed there, it is enabled by people who have the ability to draw their own lines and, yes, decide who their voters will be. Any proposal that comes forward that still, in the end, allows the incumbents in the General Assembly to draw the lines will not result in reform. We have to have a change that takes it out of the elected members of the General Assembly's hands. Anything short of that will not be reform. It'll be something that looks a little different and will continue to perpetuate the problems that we have here today.
How do you specifically plan on putting pressure on lawmakers who just don't even want to budge on as far as their position on redistricting?
I just want to remind you all who covered campaign finance reform. Remember the first, what we at the League called the fake reform bill? We and the press, when I say we, I mean the public interest advocacy organizations and the press around the state, put so much pressure on members of the General Assembly that they were saying to their leaders, I cannot go home with this. So you may remember that then the governor had the veto ceremony, which was historic in Illinois, that there was a ceremony to veto a bill. And we all went back to negotiating. And again, I want to give not just Senator Radogno and Representative Cross credit, I want to give Senator Cullerton credit for really working with us on that. Now, we were among the groups really unhappy that the leaders still got to give such enormous contributions. But we at least got a second go at that because the members were so pressured by their constituents who are paying attention. That's the other thing that's really surprised the League. Voters are finally paying attention to what the General Assembly does in a way that they never used to in the past. So we anticipate putting that kind of pressure on members again. That's our plan.
Last question.
Senator Radogno and Representative Cross, is it merely coincidence that the minority party is the one with the biggest push for this right now? I mean, the party that didn't win the redistricting